So what do you say? You want to see my secret?
Welcome, everybody, again to another episode of Abby's Window. And Jody, take it away, because obviously we didn't think we were getting something, but then we got something. So talk to everybody. Tell them what's going on.
Oh, man. I was literally, watching SmackDown, not feeling too great today. So I was laying in bed watching SmackDown, and I literally had messaged me and C Wrestling. We're talking on Twitter, and I said, really, they're going to go through this whole SmackDown and not even mention the Mania match? And he said, I know, right? It's weird. And then all of a sudden, Bray pops up on my TV screen. And Braun's still standing there in the ring. And I guess that's our next feud, because he wants his toy back.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I guess. I mean, the rumors were kind of circulating around there, and Jeff, you can add to this because I know you mentioned it too. But I mean, the rumors were out there saying, well, who's gonna go after Braun, because nobody kind of really knew, like, who are the big heels there now. I mean, other than, you got Corbin, but Corbin obviously is down the ladder now. I mean, he lost to Elias, so I don't really think he's going to be involved too much. And I mean, who else is going to go after him? So, you saw Shinsuke come down tonight. He beat him pretty easily. So, who else does he have really to go after him, especially if these guys are going to stay in their respective shows? And then all of a sudden we got Bray, and we got the Funhouse. We got some talk about things, and we got more talk about the circle, Jody.
Yep. One circle closes, another one starts. Around and around we go.
Man, it just brings up so much stuff. Jeff, I know you were talking about, you heard something about Roman.
Yeah, so obviously the plan, at least what we believe the plan was, it was to have Roman be the one to beat Braun after he had to get out of the match at WrestleMania. Well, some reports are out there now that the WWE is kind of upset with Roman, and that maybe some of the plans are changing in terms of who's the next champion, who takes the belt off of Braun if he's not going to keep it. So that's some of the buzz out there right now. And I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from a storyline perspective, it does make some sense for Bray to go after Braun, but I think that's probably more of a result of maybe some change in plans with Roman.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, because let's think about this. So let's dial this back to the original plan was, as far as we know, it was going to be the Fiend versus Roman at WrestleMania. And then Goldberg came along, and Vince, changed his mind on all of that. And then all of a sudden Goldberg had the title, and it was going to be Goldberg versus Reigns, and Reigns was going to have the title. So does that mean, if none of this would have happened and it would have been Goldberg versus Reigns, does that mean the Fiend was going to go after Roman next? Is it?
Yeah, it's.
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. Anytime Bray comes on TV, I love it. I thought it was a great, great episode of the Funhouse. It's just having that belt in the picture makes me nervous, because you've got Roman still floating out there. So sure, Bray gets his toy back. Does he get it back just to lose it to Roman down the line?
Yeah.
That's what worries me.
Yeah, that's a legit concern. I had the same thought, because, I mean, you guys all know that, obviously all the Bray fans out there, I'm sure you listened to the Kyle Scarborough interview. If you haven't, man, get over there and listen to it. We've got another big announcement, by the way, on this show. I'll let Jody make that announcement as to who we got also coming up for an interview. But if you listen to that, he mentioned about the belt and mentioned about that not tying him down, and that he wouldn't, he could go about his story now that he wanted to tell. So now giving him that back, do you go right around in that same thing again and now tie him down, or he's going to have to face somebody who doesn't really play into the story. Now, obviously, Roman does, and Jody, you mentioned that. So,
oh yeah, Roman absolutely plays into that story, and you know, I'm obviously a Bray fan, and anytime he has a belt, I love it, but I don't want him to get it back just to lose it to Roman.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love Roman too. He's, you know, in my top 3 of favorite wrestlers, but I don't want him to get it back just to lose it again to Roman. And I'm so conflicted right now.
I know. I really didn't expect it. I was like everybody else. And I know Daze mentioned this on his stream earlier tonight too. I didn't think we were going to see him. I really didn't.
I didn't either.
You know, and then there were rumors saying you're going to get the Funhouse match, or you're going to show it again, and obviously we didn't see that either. So I really didn't think we would see him today.
I didn't either. And you know, Bray's kind of notorious for that, especially, you know, he didn't most of the time after pay-per-views, and correct me if I'm wrong, he really doesn't show up on the show that week. Mm-hmm. From the best of my knowledge, he normally skips that week and kind of leaves us guessing and trying to figure out what he's doing. So I wasn't expecting to see him either. It was a very pleasant surprise. Obviously, we saw that Huskus is okay.
Yes, Huskus lives.
He survived.
Huskus lives. So all of that petitioning that we had you guys do,
Justice for Huskus.
Justice for Huskus obviously must have worked. Someone up there saw it, and Huskus is still alive. So while we're on that topic, let's backtrack even more, because we were talking about some theories this past week and what we kind of thought was going to happen. And I know I polled some of you guys out there. We put a poll up there saying, hey, you know, and this is when we thought we were going to get this. So we are getting a replay of the Funhouse match. What do you guys want to see happen next with Bray? Also, do you think we've seen the end of the Funhouse with all the clues we've been getting from merch? So the shirt. The Funhouse explodes. The last box that Jody picked up, the limited edition box. This is the last in the line. There aren't going to be any more. So, you know, you guys all voted and you all said no. I said yes, the Funhouse is over, or no, it's a swerve. You guys overwhelmingly voted no, it's a swerve, 77 to 23%. So
yeah,
you are probably all correct. Obviously, that did not happen. Just give a couple quick shout outs. Yowie Wowie says, I doubt the Funhouse is ending. I would imagine that the Funhouse will coexist with whatever else Bray has planned. We have Timbo869 said, I'm in the middle with this. So not really a yay or a nay there. And then we had WrestleMania. Same thing. I'm in the middle. Why would they stop a popular thing? But also they say you should quit while you're ahead so you don't have a chance to get stale. I can't predict it because WWE have halted popular things before, like Rusev Day, etc. So all great comments there. So yeah, obviously, like you said, Jody, a lot of these theories got kind of shot down a bit, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, you know, we had talked about maybe this theory was that Huskus, you know, is gone because he represented that major feud with John Cena, and you know, the Fiend is the dark side of Bray, so maybe now the Fiend absorbs the dark side of Huskus, and obviously we've seen that Huskus is just fine. So there goes that theory for now, at least. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen down the road, but yeah, it's interesting. And whether or not Cena was going to stick around, we don't know. And one of my buddies, Mr. Meta5, said one good way that this could go is that, you know, if he gets this belt back from Braun down the road when he faces Roman Reigns, when he comes back, what if Cena comes out and costs Reigns the belt and helps Bray in a way, and that kind of completes his heel turn?
Yeah, that would certainly be interesting. What do you think, Jeff? I mean, where do you see this going? Where do you see? I mean, do you see a positive here? Do you see a negative here? Where do you see it going?
I think it's all in how they choose to deal with the unfortunate circumstances. Whether Roman is away because he wants to be, or whether they're keeping him out of the title picture just because of the harsh feelings. I think it all depends on how they do this. I think to have Braun drop the belt, and And here's another thing too. I know we're talking about Bray, but I feel really bad for Braun because it's almost like he's a transitional champion who has had all of these different opportunities, in my opinion, that he should have won and been champion long before now.
Yeah.
And now you kind of paint him into a corner with Bray, and it's like, okay, I don't want Braun to lose because I think he's great, and he would be a great champion.
Absolutely.
But then again, it's like, okay, you can't really have Braun beat the Fiend unless it's some type of screwy finish and DQ and some other stuff happens that starts to change Braun. I don't know, but I kind of want to see them go down that road if they're going to go this way, is to have something alter Braun, to really turn him into this monster that he really should be.
Yeah. I love Braun too. He's also and one of my top favorite wrestlers as well. And I definitely think that because they're such good friends in real life, this feud is going to be awesome and very, very exciting. But yeah, like you, I do feel for Braun because he didn't have that Intercontinental Championship very long. And like Kyle said, if you put this belt on an indestructible character, how are you going to get it off him? So you can't really envision the Fiend losing that.
No.
Especially if it's going to play into his story of revenge. But at the same time, Bray also said on Twitter that Braun never left. He was drafted. And obviously I'm going to have to go back and watch, some of that and figure out, did Braun actually really turn on him, or was it just a series of unfortunate events that, made Bray feel like he turned on him even though he was drafted? So, if I don't know.
Yeah.
So many questions. Bray's so good at that. He always leaves us asking more questions and less answers.
That's very true.
He always leaves us scratching our heads.
Yeah, again, Jeff and I were talking a little bit ago about the Shinsuke Braun match, and I even said, Jeff mentioned, why is Shinsuke coming out last and the champion's walking out first? And I was even saying, I said, it just seems like that guy just gets disrespected. I mean, normally the champion always comes out last. Now I get it. Shinsuke's got the fanfare and the theme music and stuff like that, but there's even a situation where it kind of even makes it look even more like that. Now, yeah, they gave the guy a WrestleMania moment, but again,
was that because Roman wasn't there?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it always is going to feel like it was a cheap way to win the title anyway, because, the guy who was supposed to win it bowed out. So everybody knows that. It's not like people don't realize that. There's probably very few fans out there that don't know that Roman left that match and that it wasn't just Braun that got substituted in because of that. So you can't really play that off. That's
not a stab at Braun at all. I think he's been severely undervalued. He's a great wrestler. He's very, and I've gotten to see him live a few times, and he's even better not on the television. Like in person, he's phenomenal. He's a great athlete, and he definitely has been very undervalued.
I'm sure what's going on here, like you were pointed out, between the two of them, the fact that they're so close. I know he Bray's, he's something to one of Bray's children, isn't he? Is he like the godfather?
Nash's godfather.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, obviously there's a lot of respect there. There's a big friendship there. So obviously the two of them are going to enjoy working together, whatever happens here. And I don't know, maybe is this, Vince putting him in that feud thinking, well, listen, these two guys are best friends. So whatever happens, and if Braun has to drop that title to his best friend, he's not going to care about that much. So let's just
whatever happens, that's going to be some good shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh boy. That got made into a T-shirt already too.
I know, I bought it.
Shop. Did you see what was there was some kind of merch that Bray had posted today on his Twitter. He came out with a new shirt and those pants. I don't know what those pants are called. They're like a particular brand of pants.
It's an 80s style pants because I had to ask my husband about it because he's a little bit older than me, and I'm like, what is this company? I've never heard of them before.
Are they
He's
Zubats
like,
pants?
Yes, Zubats
Okay,
pants.
there you
Thank
go. Yep, okay. I know what they are then. Yep. Well, there you
So-
go, because I'm old too, so I guess I knew that.
And I was like, well, and obviously I didn't grow up in this country, so
Yeah.
I wasn't here in the 80s when those were popular. I didn't, move to the US until the mid 90s. So I missed all of that. So I didn't know what they were. And he's like, oh, that's like a staple of my childhood. We'll have to get some of those.
Yep. Man, that's crazy. Well, yeah, I mean, it's obviously it's leading to something here. So I mean, what it's going to be and how they're going to go through this, I mean, I guess we're going to find out. Now, I wonder when do they even have this match? So I'm guessing it'll be at
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
I would imagine so.
that's the next pay-per-view.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, obviously, it's going to be if they go on with the show as they're planning on, then it's going to be another empty arena pay-per-view. So
Yeah, because the venue canceled it, so they're going to have to do it in the Performance
PC.
Center again.
Yeah.
Here's one thing I noticed. Did you guys notice the growl?
Yes.
That's
No.
never been there before.
Never.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Never.
What growl?
So when Bray got all serious, like he does, that terrified Kyle, when he got all serious and like did that blank stare into the camera and it kind of pans closer to him,
Yep.
you hear in the background this really deep demonic growl.
Ooh.
Yes.
And that's never been there before.
Wow. No, I did not hear that.
And here's a thought, but maybe what Cena did to Huskus released the darkness, but now the Fiend absorbs it. Instead of Huskus being completely gone, maybe he absorbs that, and that's another part of him. That's another part of the evolution that at some point maybe he starts to absorb the darkness of all of the characters.
But the puppets stay there.
But the puppets stay.
Mm.
That would make sense because the Funhouse is obviously Bray's. What we see is the way Bray sees it.
Right.
So the puppets
Very
are
true.
going to, they may all still always be there no matter what, but the Fiend is going to absorb the darkness of those puppets. But yeah, there was definitely a demonic growl, and I was like, ooh, that's never been there before. And also, this is the first Firefly Funhouse episode, except for like the beginning ones, where he's confronted somebody, and we have not actually seen the Fiend.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, at the end, it flashes, and he says, "Let me in," and you see a flash of the Fiend's face. That didn't happen this time. You didn't see the Fiend.
I have another theory. We'll get to it in a second. Not a theory, but I just have a question to put out to you guys. Let me just get a couple more tweets from the community. So we have Liam Behan says his comment was, "Hey, I love the Funhouse." That was all his comment.
Don't we all?
We had Kofi 6195. Kofi, shout out to you. Huskus will no longer be in the Funhouse since he's now in the Paradox, constantly dying and not in a safe place that is the Funhouse set where everything is frozen in time. Wow.
Oh, that's a good point.
There.
That is.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory there, man. So I guess, so here's my thing. So it's so crazy. So
Always more questions.
Yeah, man, I can't wrap my head. It's hard to wrap my head around it. So yeah, I mean, you brought up a great point. He didn't attack, and I thought that was coming. I thought we were going to see a Fiend attack. I really did.
I did too.
He does
Especially
that so much.
when Braun said, "Hold on, Bray, hold on," and the music was going. He said, "Hold on." I thought for sure when he said, I'm going to let you in, I thought for sure the Fiend was going to pop up.
Now here's the question. So because you brought up that ending point. Braun wants him to let him in. Does that mean does Braun want to go back to his former self?
That's a good question.
Does Braun want to go back to being a bad guy? Does Braun want? Because again, Braun never left, right? Braun never left Bray. So
I got it.
Braun wants him in. So is Braun gonna willingly let him do what he's gonna do to him to go back to what he was?
I just came up with something. Okay. So he's rewriting history. That's what Bray is doing. What monumental part changed? Braun got drafted, and it took him away from the Wyatt family. So in rewriting history, is he going to erase Braun getting drafted?
And then he goes right back.
He goes right back to being not Bray's sidekick, but
right.
He goes back to being that character that he was.
Which we
before
all know,
he got drafted.
Yep, which we all know he was a heel. So
right.
Does he want to go back to that because he's frustrated with the way he's being used?
Yeah.
And does he, and now here's the thing. So, and again, you want to write a story here, then does he even care? Now, granted, he got the championship. He's the champion, stuff like that. But does he even care about it that much? Or is it more important for him to go back to being what he used to be than to even care about that title?
I think it's more important. Well, obviously for Bray, it's more important to rewrite history.
Yep.
He just said that. He's rewriting history. Yep. And you definitely got that in the Funhouse match too. It was all about rewriting history. He got to rewrite that match that he had with Cena. So what if the part that he wants to rewrite with Braun is him being drafted?
Yeah.
What would have happened if Braun was never drafted?
Yeah.
Just like he did with Cena, this is what would have happened if you would have taken that swing at WrestleMania. We would have built this, you would have been a heel, NWO, all of that stuff. That's what would have happened if you would have swung that chair. Yeah. What if he wants to rewrite, this is what would have happened if you wouldn't have been drafted, if you wouldn't have left.
It's a great point. I'm hoping we see some stuff on his Twitter coming out with, how he called Cena the addict, and it's another chapter. So now, is this another chapter in that book? Are we going to see another chapter and see him come up with another name for this? And is it significant enough to do that? Because I think that's a pretty dead giveaway on there with his Twitter stuff that he puts out. If that's a significant piece,
it'll be chapter 5.
Yes, and if you don't see that, then chances are this is kind of just a side thing, and it's not going to be a main part of the story. But now is that going to come? Is that going to follow this? So,
because Goldberg wasn't a chapter.
No, there was no significance to Goldberg whatsoever there.
So, so we'll have to wait and see if Bray starts saying chapter 5, the deserter. I don't know.
the traitor, the deserter. You can call it almost anything. So we go back a little bit to last week, and again, we got another picture from Kyle, and Kyle tweeted out the artwork that you saw that Bray tweeted out with the we didn't know what it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a mask. It was going to be another persona of the face of the hog with the fang, and he tweeted it out, and on that it just said 3 words: "It is finished." So again,
a very biblical
this
quote.
Another thing that kind of led us to think, well, is it over now? Like, is he gonna change? Is he gonna be a different character? But apparently, I guess that just means that part of the circle is finished.
Yep.
So I asked the people out there again, what did you guys think? I said, so with the announcement about the Fiend box in WWE shop being the last one, does this picture have more meaning than just a Cena feud? Is the whole thing coming to an end? And we got a comment from Moda. Shout out to Moda.
Moda!
He writes, man, I don't know. I sure hope not. He said, I have a theory. If it is the end of the Fiend and the start of Cult of Wyndham, because we are seeing more images of physical manifestation of Abby and maybe Huskus. In order to make them come to life, a sacrifice had to be made. Maybe Cena was the sacrifice. I still think we get heel Cena in some form, but maybe Cena had to go away to make the Cult of Wyndham a reality. So, yeah, great shout out, man.
Cena was the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. Great shout out. And then Yowie Wowie again, the Yowie Wowie shout out to you, buddy. I have a different theory. He said Kyle Scarborough tweeted that picture with the caption healed. And I think the more the Fiend hurts, the more Wyndham heals. And after Cena lost, the healing of Wyndham has finished. The picture we've been seeing might have been Wyndham. By the way, Yowie Wowie, man, I love your thumbnail, or I love your picture. He has a picture of Bray holding the prediction belt that Jake made for the guys who won the contest.
That's awesome.
That's really amazing. Awesome. That's a great job, dude. That's a great job, man. I didn't even notice it until right then.
Awesome.
So yeah. So I mean, wow.
Well, let me ask you guys this too, Jody. I know you mentioned the growl in the background. Did you notice that the lantern was a little more audible this time around?
Yes.
And you could almost make out some of the words.
Almost.
So that's another little wrinkle that they threw in there.
Wow, that's interesting. Huh. Man, the wheel
Here's what I would like to see. When this is all over, and I still think the feud with Randy Orton is going to be the climax, but
I agree.
when this is all over, I would like to see a new version of cult leader Bray come back and start a new family.
Yeah, could very well happen. Could very well happen. Yeah. Could very well happen.
I've said this before. I really don't want him to add another person into the picture until the Fiend's done with what he's doing.
Right. Well, and that would just make sense because again, I never thought that. I still don't know what the Cult of Wyndham thing is. I really don't. I mean, we were talking about that. Is it a podcast? Is it something completely outside of WWE? And credit to Steve Wrestling because he has mentioned that already. So is it something completely outside of this? Is it not anything to do with WWE? Because again, and the point has been made, they're not mentioning that. You're not hearing them talk about Cult of Wyndham in any of these little vignettes or in any of the storyline at all. So is this something completely different? And I mean, I'm good with whatever it is. Trust me,
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm bought in. I mean, if it's a podcast, I'm in.
If it's a podcast, we're all there.
If it's a comic book, I'm in. If it's a movie, I'm definitely in.
If it's a movie, I'll have a heart attack.
Speaking of movies, we've got a pretty big interview coming up tomorrow.
Yes. Jody, why don't you tell the folks about that? Because that is going to be, we're going to premiere this interview next week before SmackDown. So 6:00 p.m. Before now, maybe a little earlier. So don't quote me on that yet. Depending on how long the interview goes, because
I have a feeling it might be long.
It might be long. But yeah, why don't you tell them who we're talking to tomorrow? Actually.
So tomorrow night, we are going to be interviewing Jason Baker. And if you're a Bray fan and you don't know who Jason Baker is, shame on you. Jason works for Savini Studios, Tom Savini, and he's actually the one that sculpted the mask. So he made it. He took the artwork from Kyle and made a mask. So it's pretty huge. I still haven't quite wrapped my head around it. I still have no idea what I'm going to say. But, and I was pretty much that way before we interviewed Kyle as well. Another monumental interview with somebody that's in Bray's inner circle. So
Jeff and I are super stoked for this one, man, because this is a guy who works for a genius of the horror genre. Tom Savini, I have loved this dude since I met Jason Voorhees in 1980. I have been, and I got a chance to meet him, and it was like a dream come true for me. I went to a horror convention a few years back in my area, just a small little convention, and to be honest, I'm even surprised he was there. I went and I remember going in with a buddy of mine, and I saw two booths right next to each other, and one was Kane Hodder, who played Jason for a bunch of movies, and the other was Tom Savini. I'm like, oh my god. I didn't even know how to react. I didn't even know and a lot of times when you see these guys, they're charging a good amount of money to get a picture and stuff like that. I think it was $20 for each one of them. I'm like, oh my god. So I walked over, and Kane Hodder took a picture with me first, choked me pretty much while he was taking a picture. And then I walked over and I got to shake hands and get a picture with Tom Savini, which was absolutely amazing. So I am so fired up for this one. And then, yes, Jason is the production designer for Bray's mask, the guy who made the mask after Kyle got him the art, like Jody said. This I am stoked for, and I know, Jeff, I know you are too.
I may not ask him a wrestling question at all. I might just only ask him about horror stuff and working with Mr. Savini, because this is a huge interview, and to have someone that's not only connected with one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, but connected with one of the legends of horror movies, and I idolize the man. Yeah, I'm really pumped up about this.
Yeah, all three of us are going to be in horror movie heaven.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. Even ask, because we always ask this of almost everybody we talk to is like, what is your favorite? Could you imagine what his favorite
What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh,
I can't even imagine. I saw a picture. Tom put a picture on his Instagram, and it wasn't that long ago, a few months ago maybe. And I saw a picture, and he had himself sitting in his room. He has a room that he shows a lot of time on his Instagram, full of masks.
Yeah.
And he had a picture of him sitting there, and so there's the Fiend mask, and right below it on the shelf was Jason's hockey mask. I'm like,
oh man.
like, how can, give me a tour of that place. Let me just see
that
for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's exciting. Listen, guys, you have to join us for that one.
Absolutely.
If you are a Fiend fan, you have got to join us for that interview, because we're going to get some more inside perspective on where the mask came from, the origins of that, how it came out. And man, I know I've seen some interview clips with Jason in obviously printed clips talking about it. And again, he has nothing but the same, very similar. You're going to hear a similar story too, because he has nothing but amazing things to say about Bray Wyatt. Said he's a genius. He literally calls him a genius, and I'm sure he's going to do that in our interview. So cool to have him. I can't.
And as somebody that works for a genius, to say somebody else is a genius is a pretty big statement.
It is.
Yes.
It absolutely is. Yeah, that's going to be huge. I can't wait for that. Huge interview. And then Jesse, I know Jody, you've been in touch with Jesse Cage still as well.
I have been. He's been doing Instagram lives this week, and he's pulled me into a couple of them, and he keeps saying, I haven't forgotten, I promise. I think from one of his Instagram lives, he was saying he was waiting on legal for something, and then talking about a podcast, and so I don't know if that's what he's kind of waiting for. I don't know, but he keeps telling me, I promise, I haven't forgotten. I'll definitely get with you guys soon.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's three of that's the big three pretty much right there. So yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing.
There's just one missing.
There is.
We need to round out the circle.
That's awesome. We have a couple more comments I'm going to read real quick. So we got a Timbo869 writes, life is a circle, but the beauty of the circle is round we go. Well, that certainly applies to tonight. That was almost exactly what Bray said. So great comment there. Bertrice M, maybe when it ends, the cult of Wyndham begins. Surely a lot of people were thinking that. James Chadwick says it can't be the end because the Fiend still got to get revenge on Orton and Undertaker. So
yes,
absolutely. DJ B Tazzy. DJ, shout out to
DJ.
You. His comments were just a whole bunch of eyes, a whole bunch of looking eyes at the artwork that Kyle sent out. George Hook says, I'll believe it when I see it. I am still waiting for an Abby the Witch box set. So
that's interesting. We've gotten everybody else except Abby.
I thought of that too. Now they made an Abby figure, I know, was in one of those boxes, but they didn't give her own. So yeah, that's well, listen, we all know that if the demand is there, and I know we talked about this too, if Abby is the central figure against Randy Orton, then we all know that Mr. McMahon will definitely capitalize on Abby.
Oh yeah.
And there will be
all they said was that it was the last Funhouse box.
Yep.
That doesn't mean there's not going to be other boxes. They're just not going to be Funhouse boxes.
Jeff, if you had one person, and it doesn't even have to be in wrestling, if you had an actress, one person at all that you could get to play Abby the Witch, who would it be?
Oh, that's a tough question. Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Jody, I'm coming to you next, so you know you got a little more time to come up with it.
I believe her name is Kristen Stewart.
Really?
The one from Twilight?
From Twilight.
Ooh, wow.
I would.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, you know what? The body type is right.
Mm-hmm.
She's athletic, but she's kind of thin. She's on the thinner side of athletic. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously the hair. Yeah. No. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Good call. Good call, man.
Oh gosh.
Jody, you're up. Who do you think?
I don't even know.
I mean, it could be a wrestler. Could be. I mean, obviously, we all know the wrestler theories that were there and stuff like that. And we even had people. Go ahead.
If you're going with wrestlers, I think Paige would be really good.
Yep.
I do think Liv Morgan would be really good because she's got that kind of dark look about her.
Yep.
Outside of wrestling, I don't even know. Oh my gosh. Maybe Idina Menzel.
Okay.
She would be a good one.
Okay.
I like her.
Yeah. I mean, there were even comments out there that were saying Bray's sister. So
That's a tough situation.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if you were telling me this, Jody, or someone was mentioning this, that was saying that he never really wanted to have his sister involved with the business.
I heard that too. I think it's just a big brother kind of thing, or it's just a brother thing. I don't know if he's older or younger than her. I can't remember. But it's tough. I mean, it's anytime you involve family in your work, it makes it really. It changes the dynamic, and I only know that because I've done it. But it does really change your dynamic.
I had to look my actress up, but I've got one. So I would love to see Cate Blanchett play.
Okay.
Cate Blanchett played most recently that I've seen her was in Thor Ragnarok when she played Thor's sister Hela, who is the god of death. And she really, really looked great in that costume and really looked like she could symbolize the goddess of death. So I'm like, yeah, man, the hairstyle that she had for that, she could, and she's a little bit older. So, not on the younger side. So if they do like an Abby the Witch where it's a little bit older, obviously, it's certainly that we're fantasizing here because they're obviously Vince McMahon isn't going to pay $1 million to get Abby the Witch unless they're doing a really big blockbuster film.
I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Amelia Clark.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great call. That's a great call. Hey, Jody, why don't you tell everybody, because I know people were wondering, and this is still a topic of debate. Actually, I saw in the Funhouse group today. Tell everybody that you pulled out you found that picture of Abby was actually from an old clip.
Actually, somebody else on Twitter. Yeah. So it was Meta again. My buddy sent it to me on Twitter, but that whole little clip of Abigail sitting in the rocking chair is from a promo back in 2014.
Okay.
And somebody else on Twitter, I will have to go back and research it. So I can't credit them because I do not remember who it was. Somebody else sent another promo and it was in that one as well.
Okay.
So these are, that little clip came from old Bray promos.
Well, there you have it. So, I mean, people were saying, again, the Liv Morgan talks went right out through the roof again because you saw pictures of Abby with, similar, like kind of blondish hair there. And so the talks went right out to, to everybody there. So, yeah, those are old. They were definitely old clips from old promos. Reused clips. I can't recall who it was. It wasn't anybody in our community, but I saw a post on Twitter as well for people that are playing the video game, the WWE 2K20. Somebody made a scene for scene match with John Cena in the same gear that he wore there, and he created the new cult leader Bray with the exact shirt that he was wearing in the game. So it's like, wow, that's really cool. It was really neat. He had an exact. So again, He was an amazing creation there by somebody. Another quick comment. We had Faith Marlowe. Faith says, did they really say that box was the last one? And I did point it out to her. I said, yep, they absolutely
Yep, they did. They said it was the last Funhouse box.
They did. Yep. If you check on WWE Shop, you will see that it was the last Funhouse box. This one was a good one. This is C.H. Ninny Muggins wrote, John Cena's Beware of Dog Attire. Just a theory, but what if the picture Bray Wyatt tweeted is John Cena as this dog? And it shows the T-shirt that John used to wear with the bulldog with the big fangs coming out of its mouth. And then next to the picture we got of the thing with the fangs. So is it not a hog like everybody thought? Is this a bulldog, and is this Cena? So I was like, wow, okay.
That would add to the theory of the growl, because it could have been a dog growl.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, very interesting theory. So shout out to you, man. That's a great call out. Man, I again, we were surprised. I really didn't think, just talking to Jeff a little bit ago, and we came off an interview we did, and I did not think we were going to have anything much to talk about. I thought we were going to just kind of be doing a review here tonight. So
yep,
looks like we're on our way to something else here. And man, it's awesome. It's so great to be a fan of this character, and to see more and more coming and different things coming up. So, and guys, listen, we've got it all here for you. I mean, obviously Jody is going to have the latest news, and we love doing this the way we're doing it. We're able to do it right after the SmackDown show as well. So Jody, you got to tell everybody, because I know you bought that title belt. How cool is that title belt that you got?
Oh, it's amazing. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, because obviously when you see it on people, you forget how big they are and how not big we are.
Yep.
So it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it's a lot heavier than I thought it was going to be. But it's awesome. Logan will literally not leave it alone.
You got a young Fiend in your midst there, Jody.
I do. He crashed Jesse's Instagram party the other day.
Well, that's great.
He pulled me into his Instagram live, and all he could see was Logan.
That's awesome. Oh man, Jeff, do you think he's going to pull that title? Well, no, he never really got rid of it, did he? I mean, he still wears that on occasion to come to the ring. So
yes, he does.
Yeah.
He never got rid of that. So yeah, I guess. Listen, the merch train goes on, right?
Yes.
I mean, we got there's a whole bunch of new merch up. If you haven't,
I wonder if that's an Easter egg that he never got rid of that belt.
Could be.
That he still, not that he never got rid of it, but that he still wears it.
Right. I can't see that being that much foreshadowed. Although who knows? I mean, I didn't really give much credit to Bruce Pritchard either, but apparently he had a lot to do with the Funhouse match, as well as Bray and John had some input in it too. So kudos to him. I really didn't know whether or not to have faith in him as well. In fact, I was a big proponent in saying that I think the character should move to Raw because of what we got from Paul Heyman. So hey, whatever. Hopefully they realize what they have here. And they know that what they've got going forward is just a huge thing. So
I can't imagine Fox letting him go.
No, I don't think so either. Ratings are everything, and I mean, he's a cash cow, and I definitely don't see it either. I was thinking that he would switch over, but I think
which means Randy's going to have to get drafted to SmackDown.
Well, that's what I think. I think at this point they're going to move people over to him. I don't think they're going to move him somewhere else. I think they're going to move people over to him. So because
he's got the whole world in his hands.
Yep, absolutely. I still want to see the Taker thing. I still want to see the Taker thing. I know we talked to Emily in the interview a couple days ago, and she was all over that. I still want to see that happen. But I mean,
we will.
That'll be down the road, because that won't be until Survivor Series, which isn't until November.
Yeah.
It could be Survivor Series just because it's Undertaker's 30th anniversary, but if he's rewriting history, Taker beat him at WrestleMania.
Yeah, true. You can draw that out to WrestleMania as well.
If he's going to rewrite that chapter, he's got to do it at WrestleMania.
Someone brought this up the other day too, is that he can have a revenge angle on the New Day because of their feud with him and Matt Hardy.
Yep.
I was like, wow, yeah, I kind of totally forgot all about that. They had
You don't
a match
remember
at
the Wyatt family attacking the New Day in the middle of a field?
Yep. So I think there's a lot more to the story. People kind of think that it's going to be ending quickly because, you know, there's only so many people left. You only have Orton, you have Undertaker, but, you know, people forget if he's rewriting everything.
Feuds. Yep.
If he's rewriting everything, then boy, this could really go on for quite some time.
Kyle even said that.
I'd love to see it where he attacks the New Day and has some stuff going with Big E and turns him heel.
That needs to happen. That needs to happen. Man. Big E needs to turn heel in the worst way. If we see a heel turn on that man, oh boy. Whew. Yes. That needs to happen. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Aren't they the longest? Somebody was saying this earlier. I think it was in Daze's chat. Like, New Day is one of the longest running, like, factions that have never turned on each other.
That's I would imagine that is true. Yeah, because maybe they're just waiting on something like that until Xavier Woods comes back.
I think that's the case.
Yeah, because then you don't just leave Kofi by himself.
Yeah.
You would have him able to be with Xavier Woods. So, and I know Xavier had a really bad. Did he tear his ACL?
Achilles.
Yeah, that's a long rehab.
Oh, that's a year.
When you see like Kevin Durant, the basketball player I know tore his. That's a year plus the rehab. So that's
and that's for an athlete.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a long injury to come back from, and you know, doing what Xavier Woods is doing. No offense at all to any basketball players out there, or Kevin Durant at all. But I think, you know, doing what the wrestlers have to do in that ring, I think is going to be probably way more taxing on you than playing basketball. I would think.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you could probably speak to that much more than I could.
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, yes, you're jumping and running and putting a lot of miles on your legs and joints and Achilles and all that stuff, but it's not jumping off,
flipping,
off of a ring, flipping, landing on concrete, essentially landing on plywood or wood in the ring and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's just a different kind of wear and tear.
Well, listen, guys, we got to get this wrapped up here. So, Jody, final thought, or let's go around the table. Jeff, final thoughts from you. Now, what are you looking forward to that we know what's going on with Braun? And then we'll go to Jody and we'll wrap this up.
I really want to see him play some serious mind games with Braun. Whatever he can do with that, I really want to see this become a sustained feud. I want to see some changes happen to Braun as well. So that's what I'd like to see. And obviously I want to see a Big E heel turn down the line. That's not right now, but all right.
The heel turn you never knew you wanted. Jody, wrap us up here. So obviously before I get to Jody's final comments, guys, don't forget about the Jason Baker interview. We've got that for you this week. We're gonna interview him tomorrow night. Actually, we're recording this Friday after SmackDown. We're gonna interview him Saturday evening. So listen up for that. That's coming this week. More than likely it'll be Friday before SmackDown, and we will get back to you at the time. So Jody, man, take us home here.
Oh, I'm so excited. Like I said, Bray loves to leave us scratching our heads, and now we're all sitting here scratching our heads and theorizing all over again. And
it's the whole circle. It's the whole circle,
isn't it?
He's
so good at it. And that's why he's a genius. And that's why, we are on this train, even if it don't matter where it's going, we're on it. And
man,
I think this feud is going to be very interesting. I know, if we know anything about Bray, he is definitely going to play some mind games. But I also think with them being such good friends in real life, I think Braun's going to play some mind games of his own.
It looks that way with the way that ended, where he stopped him. That's the first time we saw anybody do that. And he stopped him, and Bray didn't look all that happy about it.
Nope.
Yeah, and he was just saying, I'm ready to let you in. So nobody's done that before. So yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Two best friends going at it, and man, I'm excited. I think they're going to both put everything they have into the story and work together to do it. So man, this is exciting stuff, guys. So
it's going to be a beautiful disaster.
Absolutely,
yes.
man. Absolutely. I agree. Hey, listen, guys, thank you so much. And, keep sending us those things. I want to keep shouting you guys out too. Send us your thoughts. Send them to Jody as well. She can certainly read out some of your thoughts as well during the show. So we all love this stuff, and we will see you again next week for another episode of Abby's Window. Thanks, Jeff. And of course, Jody, thank you for doing this and doing this every single week for everybody out there. So we'll see you guys all soon. Take care, everybody.